not CJ. I did it again. Caleb Williams greater than Lamar Jackson.
That's
point
bold.
Do they go from truly believing this to clicks?
Hold on, bro. I gotta give them the Steve Smith face on this one, bro. Hold up.
Just go to my profile and look at one of my most recent.
I gotta get them the Steve Smith face on that one, brother. There was a tweet that got sent out today, and if you guys are watching specifically for this, we about to go in. The tweet said this. We ain't gonna say no names. Hendon Hooker. ... Budget. Anthony Richardson. Sam Monson from PFF had said, "Who's quarterback 5 in this draft and why?" So they put Hendon Hooker at number 5, but the disrespect in calling him budget Anthony Richardson. Fisher, go ahead and go in first.
You want me to tell him?
Go ahead.
Cook, Fish, and Cook.
Go ahead, Cook.
2021 at Tennessee. 31 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. One of the best interception to touchdown ratios in college football. 2022 Tennessee. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of the best interception to touchdown ratio in college football. Hendon Hooker. Now, would we know who Jalen Hyatt is or Cedric Tillman is if it wasn't for Hendon Hooker? Answer me.
Nope.
Nope. You gotta get the meme on the soundboard of Shannon just going, nope.
I mean, you're working with 3 and low 4-star talent here. You bring in Hendon Hooker, and the offense just ignites. And we're not talking about a complex offense. I mean, we're just doing go routes and curls and slants. Like, this is nothing special. But with his legs and the decisions he makes, and his deep balls are really one thing too. But
they're beautiful.
I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah.
In college.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go in?
I was just about to say too.
Somebody go in.
Another receiver that I want to bring up. And I know you talked about him, Dante. You had him as a sleeper. Velus Jones Jr. was another guy that he worked with. And he got drafted to the Bears. He's solid, but still, Hendon Hooker with his last season. I mean, it was the year before this past season. He had, Velus Jones as one of his wide receivers, and he really, really did good with him. So, yeah, it seems like he gets the best out of his receivers. And I mean, I don't understand the downgrade. Like, I don't get how you could say budget Anthony Richardson. Like, it makes no sense.
The only reason people are saying that is because they didn't watch Hendon Hooker in the real. They watch highlights.
What?
And what did they watch?
Combine.
A Hooker.
Combine.
I get it. People are like so concerned about his age, but outside of that,
and tell me how good Anthony or Hendon Hooker's offensive line was.
Exactly.
He had to improvise last year.
Hooker,
they were butt in some games.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're seeing a quarterback that, yes, is athletic, but has been, when we watched the tape, bro, last year, we were like, what was he? A+ quarterback, number 1 quarterback that we watched on film. We were like, damn, it's going to be hard to beat Hendon Hooker, even when we watched Will Rogers, even when we watched the first year tape of Anthony Richardson. We had watched a couple other people, and we were just like, dang, if Hendon Hooker's on point, they might be one of the best teams in college football.
Exactly.
And you got to credit Josh Heupel. He was he lost by a couple votes to Chris Winkie in the 2001 Heisman when Florida State had won the national championship. He lost this close. Good. Josh Heupel was the quarterback at Oklahoma. So I think Josh Heupel knows a little bit about coaching quarterbacks as well. And as soon as Hendon Hooker got hurt, that team became doo-doo berries.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody counted them in, and they plummeted in the rankings too. People in that Associated Press would probably had them a little higher than they are actually supposed to be because Hendon Hooker was playing so well. Hendon Hooker had the best passer rating, like Fish and saying, week over week over week over week. Over the past 2 seasons, Hendon Hooker only threw 5 interceptions.
That's literally.
You want to hear the total? His whole career?
What's his career total?
80 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
That's
And that's
the problem
2
that I
years at
have.
Virginia Tech, not even being a starter.
Now,
That-
you could say, to revise this stupid tweet, Hendon Hooker, an older version of Anthony Richardson, I could
agree.
probably get behind that. But still, what was Anthony Richardson's completion percentage last year? And I get it. I was defending Anthony Richardson. It was 55%. And a lot of his receivers, they were one of the worst drop pass wide receivers in the country. I get it. But 55%, some of that's on him too. Overthrowing receivers like he did all last year. But on the other side of that, this is idiotic to say Hendon Hooker is a budget version of Anthony Richardson.
There's just so many things I have wrong with this tweet. It doesn't make sense to me.
This just screams I don't watch college football. This is the exact stuff that we're talking about that some of us get slammed on Twitter for saying and calling people out. But why do you have people coming to your defense defending something like this? Because obviously they don't watch either. A guy was like, hold on, let me refresh my Twitter real quick. He said, so why are so many people who cover the NFL and the draft specifically saying that Anthony Richardson has a chance to go number 1 overall, and no one is saying that about Hooker? So I responded, because Hooker got hurt. He is older than Richardson. Richardson is a freak athlete. If you watch college football, you would know. And then he was saying, so you agree with the previous tweet. This guy did not obviously read exactly what I was saying.
Who said that he was going 1? Where was that found? I get it,
The same
balance there, but I don't know. I just cannot get behind this tweet. Like you said, it makes no sense to me. The decision making, like you said, it goes favors towards Hooker. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like if you said Hendon Hooker is a smarter, more polished version of Anthony Richardson, I could get behind that. But it just makes no sense to me that you say something like this, where it just doesn't make sense. You have to at least watch Hendon Hooker's tape, because when we watched him last season, he was one of the best decision makers we watched throughout the season. He makes really, really good plays. He really doesn't mess up plays for his offense. He doesn't make a lot of boneheaded mistakes. I think Richardson makes a lot of more boneheaded mistakes than Hooker, and obviously the age is going to concern teams, but still,
if you switch Hendon Hooker and Anthony Richardson,
it's just
Florida wins way more games. They don't lose to Florida State. They don't lose to Vanderbilt. Or I'm sorry, that was Kentucky that lost to Vanderbilt.
No, it's Florida too.
Florida lost to Vanderbilt too?
Both of them did.
They don't lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt 2 game.
They don't lose to Kentucky. I don't think they lose to Kentucky.
They don't lose to Kentucky.
Hooker makes smart decisions in that game. I think they overwhelmed them. And
Anthony Richardson at Tennessee, they are a sub 4-5 win team.
Oh, I agree 100% with you, Vic. I think Hendon Hooker is the better quarterback than Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. I think he should be 3 up there with
Bryson, CJ. Yeah.
Like Vic said, Hendon Hooker would have won the Heisman, bro, if he didn't get hurt. It was a lock.
Yep.
Even if they would have lost, the games that they lost, he still would have won, because he would have carried his team.
Mm-hmm.
They still would have lost to Georgia, which they did. If he would have been there would have been South Carolina.
They have a chance in every single game because of Hendon Hooker. You can't say that about Anthony Richardson.
No.
You put Hendon Hooker on. I'm telling you, bro. We all were saying that the whole season. That Tennessee is never out of a game because of Hendon Hooker. You can't say that. The only time that we were screaming Anthony Richardson's praises was after the Utah game. What was everybody was saying? You can't spell Heisman without 15. You know what I'm saying? Without the IS. And people were turning the 15 into the IS and Heisman and we all did it, bro. We were all like, okay. Because we didn't have enough tape on Anthony Richardson. We saw those 3 games or 3 or 4 games that he came in, that he started. And we were like, okay, this dude is vanilla. Let's see if he put it together. We were hopeful. Anthony Richardson's whole career has been around what he can be. And he's never proven us right.
Hooker is more polished.
Vic has a good point, though. If he goes to a team like the Vikings, a team that is just a good QB away from success, like good playoff success, that's going to be scary. Like the Vikings.
I think
with those weapons.
Yeah. I think what we all saw in Richardson is he has that just like factor about him where like he can do that, but can he consistently do that? Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing that separates him and Hendon Hooker. He can't consistently do that.
Well, the thing that even separates him and Cam Newton, Cam Newton played at Florida under Tim Tebow, wasn't even a starter. Then went to JUCO, won a national championship. Then came to Auburn, won a national championship, and it wasn't damn close. And he won the Heisman. Mm-hmm. I ain't see Anthony Richardson play like Cam Newton, but that's the number one comparison we always throw at him because of what? Not because of what we've seen on tape, because of his intangibles. Mm-hmm. That's what we compare him to.
Intangibles only get you so far. Like you have to produce it on tape, you know. Like Hendon Hooker, I feel like when you just watch his film and you break it down, he's more polished than Richardson. I'm not saying, you know, Richardson can't be really, really good because obviously he has two factors that, you know, goes his way. He has the age, and I think longevity is going to give him, you know, the edge over Hooker. But still, I mean, Hooker's more polished. He proved more in college. And then, I mean, Richardson also did have you really can't like evaluate a talent like that because he only had last season. And the year before that, he only played like a small sample size. So we only got to see him one season and like a little bit of a season. So I don't know. I just can't go that far. I feel like you're doing too much when you say he's like the budget version, I think she said.
Yeah, so this was the original tweet.
Or yeah.
Hendon Hooker, ... budget, Anthony Richardson. What is budget about Hendon Hooker? Hendon Hooker was in a Heisman conversation. Is that a budget quarterback? A budget quarterback is a dude that's carried his team the whole time?
Was Anthony Richardson in it?
Is what?
Was it Richardson in the Heisman talk like Hooker was?
Put it like this, Fishing, before you go. If you took the vision or the look of Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker away, you couldn't see what they look like. But Madden had a mutt, right? They said they just said prototype quarterback, and it's just a silhouette of a dude. You don't know if it's Hendon Hooker or Anthony Richardson, but you turn the card on the back and it's got all these amazing stats from their college career lined up one after one. They said, you choose one of these cards. Which one are you going with?
It ain't no question.
That's what I'm saying. But so how's he budget? You would say this dude is the budget version of Hendon Hooker.
If Hooker was younger, I don't think this would be close. I think Hooker would by far be like 3, and we would be talking.
I don't think it matters.
I agree.
Okay. At what point does this become truly believing this to clicks? Because the same account, Manny, you know about this. I believe I said this before the show. I am still flabbergasted. Dante, if you got that meme of me just like this, share it, because this is me right now. Still, this account said CJ Williams greater than Lamar Jackson ? At what point do you go from truly believing this to just doing it for clicks?
Wait, what did they say? Say that again, Hayden.
CJ Williams, not CJ. I did it again. Caleb Williams greater than Lamar Jackson.
That's
what point
bold.
Do they go from truly believing this to clicks?
Hold on, bro. I gotta give them the Steve Smith face on this one, bro. Hold up.
Just go to my profile and look at one of my most recent.
I gotta get them the Steve Smith face on that one, brother.
That's bold, man.
Like,
I can't do that.
Oh, what are we doing here?
What are you straight up are gonna say a college QB who isn't as overall complete like Lamar is better? Lamar has an NFL MVP. Literally carried the Ravens team that year. That offense with a wider core of Hollywood Brown and Willie Snead compared to CJ Williams, who benefited off of Lincoln Riley's offense.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just want to point this out. Like Vic said, he had a better season than Richardson. He went up for the Heisman. And then if we just look at the whole game, let's take the age out. Who's an overall better quarterback? Is it not Hendon Hooker? Like, is he not a more accurate quarterback? Who's better in the pocket? Like, who consistently wins in the pocket? Hooker. He fits like every box you want in a quarterback, outside of the fact that he, the injury is gonna kill him. And then got the age. That's a concern.
I'll say this.
Outside of that, he's a good quarterback. Like, he showed everything that you want in a quarterback in the games that we watched him this past season.
And somebody else too. If I'm an NFL GM right now in this draft process looking for a quarterback, I would straight up pass on Anthony Richardson and go for Hooker. I'll take that risk. Is he injured? Yes. But I'd rather take a guy I know that I can trust when he does play than a huge project guy that has to be developed just right.
I can't do that. I think the age, the age is the thing.
If you want to make age, if you want to make a smart tweet or a smart analyzed opinion about this, you can say Bailey Napier doesn't know what he's doing, and the coaching was bad for Anthony Richardson, and he wasn't put into positions to where he could do well. You could say that as an argument. You could say the opposite for Hendon Hooker. He was put in a position with a good offensive coordinator as a head coach, a good scheme to where he could make plays and establish himself like he did. That's the only argument that you could actually make.
They can't
comparing these two quarterbacks.
They can't do that. You know why?
They don't watch college.
They don't watch college football.
I was about to say that.
It's a good point.
Do they know college like
so how can you make an informed opinion about something that you don't even know about?
All this person does is probably watch highlights of their whole college career and just go based off what the like ESPN is telling them.
Ding, ding.
They're seeing that ESPN is ranking Hendon Hooker as Hendon Hooker as a third, fourth rounder, and having Anthony Richardson as I've been seeing number 1 overall pick, which is outrageous.
That's the buzz that happens when he gets all this love, bro.
Him and
you know what?
Go ahead, Fisher.
If I watch just highlights all the time too, maybe I would say he's a budget Anthony Richardson.
Heck
maybe
yeah, bro. I mean,
you know what? It all comes full circle. I get it now.
No matter what happened, this tweet got us like this, y'all. Straight up. We're trying to figure out what the hell is going on when we read this, bro.
It's just like, wow. I don't get it. And then it's like, you always notice this pattern where, like, people that don't watch college football usually come around this time around NFL draft combine to talk about,
and be dropping spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff, and be all that analytic stuff. It looks pretty on paper.
It looks pretty on paper.
You know what? I call myself a college football guy more than an NFL guy too, but 1-on-1, bro, I gotta take a step back. I'm taking my best guy up on the plate, bro. Fish ain't gonna bat 1,000 against these dudes, bro. I'm be like, all right, Fishing. I already know what I want to say, but go ahead and cook these dudes.
You know what? I'm gonna start doing that. I'm just gonna.
They gonna say that I'm the rah guy. Like, yeah, he sounds like he knows, but he really don't really know. But I actually do know.
You just throw fishing at him. You know that's over. It's over.
What I'm gonna start doing,
like Joe Burrow said, put it in his hands. It's over.
Put it in his hands. Hey, I'm just gonna tag Fishing on Twitter, be like, at Fishing, cook. And that's it.
Exactly, bro. It's just like this happens around
that's
this
the reason
time.
I don't go on Twitter.
It's just repetitive. It's like a pattern. You notice it. NFL draft combine. When this starts to talk, like, it's just a buzz. When Anthony Richardson, like he's like this guy. I don't want to call him this. I don't want to call him Zach Wilson, but you always have that one quarterback that just gets that love, that just buzz, that he just shoots up the boards, around this time. And Richardson is definitely the guy that, is heading in that direction.
Bro, that's like this, right? I'm gonna give the perfect example of what this whole situation is like. I'm gonna read Vic's comment first before I get into that, because it's gonna segue right into what I'm about to say. He said, if you have a small sample size in college and you did not excel to the highest level, that should be a warning sign. Yes. Where do we get to the fact that, like, when people don't perform, put your job for example, we could put this in school. You could put this playing on sports teams, right? If I go to my job and I don't perform and I expect to get promoted,
They're gonna say no.
it ain't gonna happen. They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. What have you done for me lately? The combine and everything has everybody so jacked up by these intangibles that we forget to just go look at the simple film. Anthony Richardson played almost the same exact damn teams that Hendon Hooker played, and Hendon Hooker from week to week was the better quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's like Manny going to school right now and not doing his homework every day. You expect him to pass?
Manny, if I find out that's true, I'm gonna go to wherever you are and slap you.
You ain't never passed your class because the teacher said he's got potential.
Hey, bro,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was me in
Bruh.
school.
hey, he's got potential, so that's why I passed him. He didn't have to do no work.
Math teacher. That was literally my math teacher. All I would do was just sit and watch Star Wars in their class. But I had math potential.
Yeah. Where do we get to the fact?
I'm class, baby.
Can scouts and NFL dudes and these NFL Twitter people, can they come out and say this? That's nice that you got the intangibles, but did you do the work though?
They're not,
Did you put the effort in consistently?
they're looking for a guy like a QE to change their whole franchise around. If they don't see that in you, you ain't going to get picked.
Well, you know what it is? You know what it is? People, everybody wants to be right. Everybody here. We want to be right at some things or another. And it's hard for people to admit when they're wrong. It just is what it is. But here's the thing. With making takes like this is going to make you seem so dumb when these dudes don't pan out to be the way that everybody expects them to be. Okay? But everybody always wants to be first to the punch and making something crazy, a crazy prediction, because if they get it right, it's going to make them seem legit. So I get it. But on the other side of that, everybody's been in this situation. Algebra class. Whatever equation's on the board. Fishing, I need you to come up here and solve the equation for me. Fishing just right up there the answer to the equation. They gonna say, how did you get that?
I'll be like, well, what?
Well, he gonna be like, why I gotta show you? Ain't that the right answer? That's basically what these dudes in the combine is doing right now. They ain't gotta explain how they got there. We don't care about how you got there. You just got there.
Yeah.
That don't work, man. Why do we give sports is the only place that we just let the dude skip the line.
We just let it's just repetitive. We just let them get this leeway and we just let them. It always happens. We just let them talk about stuff that they don't know because they just get the free space to talk about it. And then once they get caught, and
they make the excuse for him. Oh, he played at Florida. He didn't have a number one receiver. I don't care.
Nobody keeping the receipts.
And then the receipts, exactly. That's another thing. It's hard for them to if Fishing, and this the dude that we're talking about, the dude that tweeted this. If Fishing told that dude to name one game where Richardson was elite level talent outside of the Utah game where he consistently produced.
I'll do it right now.
And he wasn't an elite level talent in the Utah game. Let's be real about it. He wasn't it wasn't like, oh my God, bro, this dude winning the Heisman right now. Hand it to him. It was like, wow, I can see why he's a Heisman candidate. That was impressive. That's what we came out saying.
You know what's even funnier?
What's that?
The game is Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
The game is Tennessee. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
They played each other.
Yeah.
He threw two touchdowns and had an interception in that game.
Yeah, he threw for like 400 something yards.
425 yards, I believe it was.
425 yards. And Hendon Hooker threw for like 3 something, I think.
And looked better. It didn't even look like Anthony Richardson threw for that many yards. That's how crazy it was. That's how lopsided it was. Because Hendon Hooker's a better quarterback.
And Richardson,
I just had some.
Richardson wasn't consistent every week. Effort. I want to see the same effort every single week in the play. Like, yes, he shows it. He has the talent. He has the raw talent. He has the build. He has the size. He has everything you want in a quarterback in terms of the intangibles. But does he do it consistently, like with effort, film. I don't.
Well, you
I
know who
think
got the short end of the stick this year, and consistently played good games, and this one's gonna hurt for one of you guys on the panel. You probably know who I'm talking about. Bo Nix did it consistently every single week this season, bro, and didn't even get mentioned in the Heisman. He barely turned over the ball.
He played great.
His worst game was against Georgia, and everybody looks bad against Georgia. After that, he only got sacked like 4 or 5 times the whole season, and it wasn't because of his O-line was great. It's because he was improvising the whole time and making plays, bro. But he didn't get mentioned for the Heisman. Bo Nix, you were great this year. Okay, well, if I was so great, why you got runner-ups like Stetson Bennett there because of what? His team was winning and they were undefeated. Stetson Bennett had an incredible year, but if you go and look at Bo Nix's numbers and what they did versus Georgia, Bo Nix should have been there as a runner-up, and he wasn't even mentioned. That was blasphemous.
He always haunts me, bro. I can never escape.
He can never escape him.
Well, here's a perfect example of somebody that skipped the line, right? Last year's draft. Who was the guy that everybody was like, that didn't watch college football, that everybody's like, oh my God, he's the next.
Oh, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, exactly, right? Where did Malik Willis play before he went to Liberty?
He went to Auburn. He went to
Sorry to keep bringing it up, but it's just a perfect example. People overhyped him when he did not want to stay at Auburn and won the starting job.
Better than Bo Nix, and Bo Nix was gonna beat him either way. Because
exactly, but you know,
he would have got cooked.
But you know what the Malik Willis stands will say? Oh, didn't Bo Nix have a family member that was on the coaching staff or part of that school, and he was always going to be the starter regardless? Sorry, sir. Regardless of whatever your bias is, they're going to go with the best person to win. Because is that head coach a family member?
No.
They get paid.
The head coach has ultimate power.
Like, they get paid to get the best players on the team. They're not just going to favor the family member just because he plays on the team. If Malik Willis was so good, then why can't he beat him up? Why did he have to transfer to Liberty? Like, bro.
And why did Bo Nix transfer to Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
If that was such the case, he didn't care. He wanted to go somewhere where he knew he was going to get the best chance to do what he needed to do, and he balled out.
Yeah,
and he went with Dan Lanson, and look what happened.
Bo Nix was never developed at Auburn.
Malik Willis was not my guy, bro. I love the talent, but he was just not like he's like, I don't know. He did too much. He tried playing too much hero ball.
Who's going to be this year's Bo Nix?
This year's
he was almost in the same situation.
Mordecai.
No, not Tanner Mordecai. Tanner Mordecai was balling. Who's going to be this year's Bo Nix, bro?
Sam Hartman or Cade McNamara.
Don't you say Cade.
I think it's
it ain't gonna be Sam Hartman. It's not gonna be Sam Hartman because Sam Hartman was balling out at Wake Forest. It's gonna be Cade McNamara. I hate to say it, bro, but the similarities are just there.
No, Vic. The only reason I had Malik Willis going in the first round was because I felt like
said check the tape.
Based off what people were saying about him, based off what everyone was saying about him, and I'm just going off of like the reports that just came out. It seemed like it was circulating that he was on a trajectory of going in the first round, and that's where I had him going. I had him. I think the Steelers at pick 20.
I don't remember that, Vic, but I remember the Carson Strong love though.
That one, I can agree with.
I'll say this. I was wrong about Malik Willis. I had an argument with you in a stream one time, Dante, about it. I was wrong about him. I would say
hey, what do I always hold my hat on, bro? What is the quarterback that I've been the most wrong about in the last 15 years?
Cam
Newton. My track record is pretty good when it comes to quarterbacks. I evaluate those the hardest out of any position, bro.
Bro, you play the position. You probably know the most about it when it comes to quarterback. I mean, a lot of people don't play, so it just goes beyond that. It's like, even if I was just sitting on my couch watching, why do people overhype some more quarterbacks than others? I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you get a pass because CJ Stroud is throwing damn screen passes the whole time. Yeah, does that have to do with coaching? But yeah, absolutely.
But what does he do when there's a wide open, scheme that he can let himself work? He proved in the Georgia game that he can let that joint rip.
Zach Wilson,
okay,
bro. Just because Zach Wilson can, run around and make elite throws doesn't make him an elite talent. That's always. It's just that one quarterback that everyone overhypes. And
their pro day or NFL combine. And that's Anthony Richardson this year. And I want to say this. Did Anthony Richardson outduel the best quarterback in this draft?
Stop it.
No.
No.
Stop it.
Hendon Hooker did.
I'll tell you what. Bryce Young did the most G thing. Because, I always say, if I was a quarterback, I'm doing everything. Even if the drills look bad, I'm going to just go do everything. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to let everybody know that I'm going to participate in everything. That's just, it might not be the right move when it comes to the money, but this is what Dante wants to do. I'm not listening to the scouts because I believe in my ability. And if there's something that people are harping on that I didn't do right, guess who I'm going to? A coach that can help me turn those things around. And that shows development. But the thing that Bryce Young did, he said, I don't know about the interview process, so I'm gonna go do that. Everything else, I ain't doing.
I mean,
but he's the one quarterback that didn't have to prove anything though. He had nothing to prove.
I don't even think CJ Stroud should have thrown. He had nothing to prove. He showed it all on tape as well.
What'd you say, Manny?
He had a little bit more to prove than Bryce. Go ahead.
He proved it in one game. That's the difference. CJ Stroud proved it in one game. Bryce Young proved it in every single game he played in at Alabama.
He had the best back-to-back seasons as far as I'm going to prove you guys wrong. Win the Heisman, your first start in the year. Won the Heisman. No question. Put up numbers. Can you show glimpses of your Heisman season without those weapons being on your team? Because that's the one thing that they're going to say. Oh, I showed out with not a 1,000-yard receiver. I showed out without a 1,000-yard running back. Yeah, I showed out through the adversity, getting crunched up against Texas.
No offensive line. That's another.
I was not the reason why we lost against Tennessee. That's it. He didn't have to prove nothing, bro.
He played in his bowl game.
He played in his bowl game.
The game. Way more to lose than to gain. Balled out.
That's why you don't hear too much about it. The real ones know he ain't had nothing to prove, yo.
He had nothing to prove.
He proved more this season to me than his Heisman season. Because like I said, less talent. He did more with it. And, I don't know how he did it, bro. He had nothing offensively that was consistent. Jahmyr Gibbs was on and off. Jermaine Burton on and off. It's just he was the only guy that was consistent every week. It's just I don't know how he did it, but he had nothing to prove. If anything, Richardson, if he didn't, participate in this combine, and Will Levis, if they didn't participate in this combine, that would have hurt their draft stock more than it hurts Bryce Young. Because what do you have to prove? You have a Heisman. You proved more this past season than you proved in your Heisman season. So they got everything they want out of you. I mean, the only thing that they looked at is your height. And some dude said that you were taller than what they expected at 5'10". They thought you were like 5'6", which I don't know how.
Well, why does it matter? He balled out.
Height doesn't matter.
I don't care about none of that stuff, bro.
But not as much as they overhyped. Like,
if intangibles weren't so hyped, I'm telling you right now, I'm about to prove everybody's point. If intangibles weren't so hyped, then why is Anthony Richardson being projected to be the number one in some people's eyes? If the intangibles weren't so hype, then why is Bryce Young dropping in a draft because he's short and small? Hey, people love intangibles. They don't care about game film, bro. It's a damn shame. I should make a T-shirt that says "I love intangibles, not game film."
Hey, yeah. Now come over here. Let me measure your hands, bro.
I want to say this though.
Kenny Pickett balled out at the end of the year. Kept Mike Tomlin, and I was the one that was like, I don't think Kenny Pickett's the guy. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Kenny Pickett. He kept the Steelers over 500 for Mike Tomlin. He might be all right, but he balled out at the end of the year, bro. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Kenny Pickett, bro.
He did a lot better at the end of the season.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I got small hands. I can't throw the ball.
I want to say this.
What are you wearing gloves for?
People were trying to make his.
You seen what Steve Smith did when Kurt Warner was talking about that 5'10"? So he walked out the room, bro. Nah,
Yeah.
height. You can have height. You can have all the height in the world. Like,
It won't
man,
make
if
you
you
a better
can't play
QB.
football, if you got the height, you got the intangibles. What was Jamarcus Russell coming out of college? He big quarterback, height, intangibles, the arm. He did nothing. Game film that impressed the quarterback. Yo, Doug Peterson said we're screwed. The first damn minute he walked into the building when he asked him to, show me some game tape and what you know, and he didn't know nothing. Like he couldn't show any reads what he was supposed to do. If you got the intangibles, but you can't, consistently play good in this league, it's just gonna be hard for you to adapt to it. We'll see though. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I want to say this
Go ahead.
too. If you judge a quarterback based off their combine performance and pro day so much into your mocks, you're just going to have a bunch of Zach Wilsons.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Zach Wilson should not have been number 2. That should have been Justin Fields. Zach Wilson should have not even been in the top 15. He was not that guy coming out of college. He only got hyped up to number 2 because of his pro day. Before that, people were having him around 15 to 20. But then his pro day, he just had some great deep ball passes without like
Hey,
Fisher says.
He played a bad schedule.
I'm glad.
He did really, really well at the end.
Yeah, Jaron Hall played a harder schedule than Zach Wilson, and then Jaron Hall gets projected low because of his age. Like, come on, bro. That's not fair. BYU was still ranked under Jaron. But here, I'm glad you brought the Zach Wilson thing up because check this out. Justin Fields got cheated because he was known as, and for whatever reason, because Fisher said this before about his stats. Justin Fields' career at Ohio State trumps Trevor Lawrence at Clemson as far as statistics.
And I was
in
totally
passing,
that.
in passing themselves.
That's Trevor's key area.
Yes. In passing, Justin Fields had better stats. Why did he not get drafted at number 2, but Zach Wilson did?
Well, that was a different class.
Different class.
It was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance.
No, Justin Fields got drafted in that class.
Yeah, he got.
Was it really?
Yeah, he went to the Bears. Yeah,
he went to the Bears. Yeah.
Damn, really?
Yeah, it was.
Anyway,
went Trevor Lawrence.
Fish is not an NFL guy. Disclaimer.
It just makes no
Yeah.
sense to me why
Don't roast my man.
Robert Saleh, knowing that Fields fits the system, he would take Wilson over Fields. I just can't understand that. But
It's a Jets.
it's crazy. But like, still, Fields hurts. Bro, that Heisman class was just so damn good, bro.
Manny,
yeah.
remember that my very first mock draft of that year of that class, I had Fields going 1, and I was laughed at. Look who's right now. Justin Fields is the best QB from that class as of right now.
I want him.
Facts. That is facts, bro.
And I was laughed at.
Zach Wilson will always be known as. We keep talking about social media quarterbacks. It should have been him. That long, like 65, 70-yard bomb he did at practice with all the scouts around. I was actually watching that on this channel. I did this pro day. And when he did that, everybody's like, oh, he's a beast. Oh, my God. Malik Willis did the same thing. These guys are like, oh, my God, they're beast. Same thing's happening with Will Levis.
Shador Sanders did almost the exact same thing.
I like that better because he rolled out and threw off his front foot like a 70-yarder in the corner of the end zone. But we're talking about dudes that are standing flat-footed or just doing a regular drop back and throwing the ball. This dude rolled out the pocket and threw it further than you guys. But no, we ain't going to talk about Shador, though.
We ain't going to talk about how there's 2 Zach Wilsons in this class with Will Levis and Anthony AR-15.
I can't say
I'll defend AR. I'll defend AR.
Watch your tongue, boy.
Hey, Hayden.
I was
Hayden, I don't know if you heard my little rant on on Anthony Richardson, but the only reason I'll defend Anthony Richardson is because he's actually showed improvement at the combine. His stance is different, his throwing motion is different, and them dudes, they know who I'm talking about, right? You guys saw the clip. The dude said exactly what I said, almost word for word. My same analysis. That his throwing motion was different, his stance was different than said on this show. Bro, I know you be watching, bro. You probably watching right now, straight up. But he improved in his and all of that, just being a quarterback. Even his throws downfield were more on the money. Mm-hmm. I mean, right in the breadbasket. He had one bad throw, but other than that, you're seeing the inconsistencies even with that because he's still molding that. So I can't necessarily say that because that game that he played against Kentucky, he was a better quarterback.
He was
than Will Levis was.
Will Levis should not be a first round QB. I'm saying AR, the reason why I'm saying I get Zach Wilson vibes because of the hype and the talent. People gave Wilson a lot of talent coming out. AR actually has the talent though, to be fair, but I feel like he will be a bust if he goes in the top 5. If someone takes him at 15 through 20, I think that'll be good for him.
I don't know. I think if, let's say, I'll put a team in there. I think if AR-15 goes to the Indianapolis Colts, he will not be a bust because, bro, you have literally everything you possibly want if you're a quarterback on that team. What do you possibly not have? You have the coach. And you know what's already intriguing to me? What if Shane Steichen gets AR-15? He developed Justin Herbert. He his first season, I think he had the most passing touchdowns in NFL history for a rookie quarterback. And then we saw the improvements he did with Jalen Hurts. What if he could do the same thing with AR-15? I'm just saying that's encouraging to me. I think the team is already set for you. I think with him, that's the intangible. I think you're going off of that, and he's improved bit by bit in his game. I don't know. I think there's something there. I just can't do it with Wilson because Wilson played in he didn't play in the SEC, and he played in a much easier conference. I'm not gonna put all that on Wilson, but you see the difference from adjusting there to the NFL. I think it's gonna be a little bit easier for Richardson than Wilson.
I want people to take the Cade McNamara approach is not everybody needs to be on social media showing everything because that clouds people's judgment too. Anthony Richardson, he's been on social media showing or somebody's been posting it, but obviously he's giving them permission to, of just showing how all his throwing and all his workouts and everything. I mean, that's great, man, but you gotta develop that over on the field too. The thing that I like about Cade McNamara is when he went on that podcast with Jordan Palmer came out and said, yo, I asked him to come out, see if we can work on some stuff. He's and I don't know if you guys ever seen Cade McNamara talk. He's kind of really reserved and real. Oh yeah, real. He's real to himself, bro. He's I don't know about. He don't want the spotlight, and I like that about quarterbacks like him. So
I hate that.
And Anthony Richardson's a good dude too. I mean, from what I've seen in interviews and stuff like that, I just don't like the social media thing. Let everything be a mystery.
Yeah. Steichen, he got Herbert when he was a rookie. So he came into a place where there was obviously a lot of talent there. But Steichen, you can't really say that just about Herbert though, because you could put that little thing on Herbert, but he did it with Hurts too. So he could do it with 2 quarterbacks. I feel like it's encouraging if you have 2 quarterbacks that prove that they could be good with Steichen. And I'm not gonna say Hurts and Richardson are I think Hurts is probably he's smaller, of course. I think Richardson has a stronger deep ball. I just think Hurts is more efficient because he's a lot, he's in the pros. He has to be more efficient. And he's in pro style offenses and whatnot. But I don't know. I think it's encouraging what Steichen has done. I think he could get the most out of AR out of any team in the top 10. That's just how I feel. I feel like with what he did with Herbert and Hurts, I think that could translate to Richardson just based off intangibles and what Hurts and Herbert did with him.
Yeah, like I said earlier, AR can be a good QB in the NFL. He just needs development, and it shows. like his tape in college, his shows, and everything. He just needs to be developed right. And if he goes to a team that can help his development, as they have like a cheap veteran on their team for a couple years, let him develop, then let him rip. He could be very good in this league.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you guys. So, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, this show has actually went over this topic, but started talking about Anthony Richardson. But hey, man, again, like I always encourage people, go watch college football, man. Don't. You're leaving yourself in a void when you don't just do the simple stuff like that, because then you get guys like us up here on the panel and people in the comment section that actually do watch. Why do we have -2 concurrent viewers? How the hell is that possible? I've never seen that, bro. What the hell?
Hey, bro,
-3. What is going on? Please.
I mean, they're behind or something.
Yeah, you so far behind now?
No, I'm like in the analytics page where I can watch.
Bro, you're in the multiverse.
Viewer activity.
I got 1. I don't got -3.
I got -3, homie. That's crazy.
Hey, bro, I think that one user saw
That's
that
wild.
and hacked your YouTube, Dante.
It might be, but you're wrong. So here you go. We just proved you're wrong.